Hello, everybody. My name is Desiree. I'm here this morning. It's morning for me to give you a quick story because, kind of like at nighttime in the morning, I usually just really sit, meditate, ask God, what should I speak about on my channel? And I don't know if it was last night this morning, but it was real heavy about, excuse me, I just finished eating my waffle. It was real heavy on me about people that lose their home, whatever, it could be apartment, home, whatever. And it still falls in the line of finances to me because either we did something wrong or you lost your job. It could be of so many reasons why you lose your home. But the point is that you lost your home. And I just want to give you my testimony because through people testimony, it's like, okay, then you can resonate with someone else when you're going through that challenge. Because one thing for myself, I don't want to really talk to nobody unless you have kind of been on the field and you did some war fighting and you got some little scars. Then you can talk to me, you can give me a testimony. Then other than that, don't tell me about something you done read or something you went to school for. That ain't gonna work for me. So in reference to losing your home, and I know this time of year, oh, everything is just so sensitive. So I'm giving this story, I'm saying for encouragement. I don't know if that's the right word because nothing you say in the time frame when a person is losing their home or lost a home, nothing encouraging you can say about that. I will say the story is going to end on a good note. And I have lost my home twice. And both times they end on the good note. The thing is, the first thing I'm going to say, and y'all stay with me. Don't close your eyes. Because sometimes when something is when you have to drink from the bitter cup, it's like you just click, go to somebody else. I ain't trying to hear that. But I'm telling you, if you're in a place that you are feeling like you're going to lose your home, or you lost your job, and home could be on, I don't know if I can pay my house note, mortgage, whatever. If you're in that situation, stay with me. It does end well. It's not good right now, but if you have been watching me on my journey, you kind of have a feel of, how I speak, and so just stick with me. Drinking from the bitter cup is being able to hear things with your heart, not with your mind. As we listen to our mind, girl, we fall from the cross. Excuse me, and we can't hear anything and we cannot grow. So I want you to listen with your heart in reference to drinking from the bitter cup. I will always say this, and I'm going to say this again. When you're in that situation, look at the situation and see what you need to learn from it. What did I learn from losing my first home was that I should have had a second income. I was making really good money, had a daycare center. Um, Not a whole lot of money, but I was making enough money to invest in something else to have some other income coming in. So something happens, I got something to fall back on. Nobody told me that. I started business when I was in my late 30s, 40s. So that's really what I learned, along with, um, with that second income or, saving. It really, my bitter cup was I should have had some money saved somewhere. So when something started going down, I had like 3, 4, 5 months to sustain myself until I can think, okay, which way can I go? Excuse me, y'all. But in the morning, I just be so clogged up. Um, and I'm not gonna edit this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And so, the other thing is that I was married to my deceased husband, and I really feel like if we could have sustained ourselves for like 3 months, he actually found a job because he was working with me full time in the daycare, and he never wanted to do anything else. And I think because he gotten real comfortable and working, short hours, and it was good for him, good for me, and blah blah blah. But I feel like he would have really stepped up. And he did. Like after I lost the business, he ended up getting a job. I wrote his resume, he got the job. Wonderful. So I looked at what I saw what I learned from that situation. And sometimes we go through stuff and it's a hard lesson that we have to learn. The second time I lost my home, if you listen to another video somewhere on my list, is that I was actually, as my mom say, shacking with somebody. Now y'all know I shouldn't have been doing that. And I was supposed to be paying half. He was supposed to be paying half. But as soon as we moved into the home, he never paid his half. So I had to borrow money from, this person. The second month I had to borrow money from another person. Third month I had to borrow money from this person. I was digging myself in this hole. It was a mess. So the lesson I learned from there is that I should not have gotten myself in that situation anyway. I knew better. I shouldn't have got myself in that situation anyway. So, but let's go back to the first home. So the first home, I'm trying to say what I learned or how I walked through the process. That's what the testimony is going to be about. How I walked through the process. I'm no financial advisor. This is just my journey. This is just how I did it. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. So when I feel like I got like 3 months behind, it was so many things was knocking at me. So many bills was coming at me. I just couldn't even think straight. I was in a very traumatized space. And so I knew I was 3 months behind, which at that point, most likely that's foreclosure. So all I had was the 1 month rent. I think that was like $1,200. So I sent that in, and I had this kind of mindset, this kind of thinking in my head, whatever. Now I don't advise that for everybody. Whatever does not work for everybody, but whatever really worked for me. Sent it in. 2 weeks went past. They sent me the note back, letter back with my check and saying that I had to pay this amount to get it caught up. If not, it was going into foreclosure, losing my home, and they gave me my check back. Well, I was just a happy, happy, happy camper. Took my little check, cashed it. Me and my mom went out and got something to eat. And she was like, "Okay, so what do we do now?" And I was constantly thinking in my head, but again, the whatever phase worked for me because it helped me not to get so into that stressed out place. Oh my God, I'm losing my house. Because the first thing you think about, you start getting stressed out, you start feeling like a failure, like, what did I do? And then you start thinking about people looking at you. And I know it's so hard to say, don't be looking at people looking at you because you're not the only one that lost your house. The thing is that this is your time to look at yourself and figure out what works best for you. So I was like, the other thing, the best thing that one of my friends told me, this is down the road, but I use this now. This was Rhonda, a very good dear friend I work with. When you are in a situation that does not look good, there is one question that will help you see the end result and help you in walking out the process. And the question is, what is the worst that can happen? So going back to the home back then, I was like, what is the worst that can happen? I did have mom house to go to or my grandmother. No, I didn't have my mom house to go to. I had my grandmother house to go to. And honestly, I did not want to do that. I lived with my grandmother for a while, but my mom and my grandmother together, mm, that did not work out. So I mentally could not handle that. I ended up going to live with one of my very good dear friends, Verlene. And I went from a 5 bedroom house to me and my youngest daughter moved in with her and we shared a bedroom together. It was it worked for me. I didn't have any stress. Once you come to the understanding that it has happened, okay, I've lost my house. Once you get past that, I'm not going to say it's smooth sailing, but one thing I didn't have to worry about was paying a doggone mortgage. I was in a situation financially, I didn't have it anyway. So every month I was worrying about how I'm going to make this mortgage. Every month I was going to do that. And to finally, when I moved in with her, I was like, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Sometimes the situation may not look like the way that you want it to look like, but I'm telling you, it worked out better for me because God blessed me to that she opened up her house bedroom for me and my daughter. We stayed there, and I didn't have to worry about nothing. And so it was good for me. Now I did think about the scenario. What if you don't have families or friends? And back in the time when I lost my house, it was not popular to live in your car. But I'm telling you, if I did not have a place to stay at, because I ain't had no money for no hotel, it won't like that. I would have went to Walmart. I would have bought me a little container with my necessary items I needed to have in it, and I would have stayed in my car until I could have figured out what I could do. I would have looked at it not as a long term thing, but I would have looked at it, okay, so just to kind of sit in my car and think about which way I need to go. Because sometimes with me, I need to be by myself so I can think it out. Now, granted, I had my daughter, so things a little bit different when you have with children. The other thing I think about is having to go to a shelter. And I probably would have to end up fighting somebody there because I can't tolerate nobody taking stuff here. And I already had my house taken. Now I got to fight you. But I'm saying you have to look at all the scenarios in reference to, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? And just walk out, the process. Even packing up the stuff. You may have to give a lot of stuff away because maybe you don't have money to, put it in storage. And, you may do, I don't know, how and why you lost the house. So I can't talk about that. Only talk from my experience. So didn't want to make this long. I just want to give words out to the group of people that's looking at this and just need to hear somebody else's story. So I know I was getting to a end wonderful point because I said it was good. And yes, your credit, it does affect your credit, but if you're in your 40s, it's going to probably affect your credit for about maybe 7 years, whatever. And sometimes I've had I'm one of those kids that I'm telling you, when God has worked miracles for me. I've had stuff not get on my credit, so you don't know what God can do. But the miracle, the wonderful part at the end. So I walked through the concept of living with my girlfriend, and that was like just I enjoyed it. Um, but when we got to the end, the thing was I did find a full-time job. And this was way back, way back, way back before anything. I had went to this street and it was in Carytown. I'm in Richmond. So it was in Carytown, but it's the street behind Carytown. And I saw it was this one particular block that I was like, oh my God. They were like little cottages. They looked so cute, like little bungalows. And I went there to meet up with somebody. We was doing a filming and photography thing together. And I was like, oh my God, I would love to live on this block. And I mean, I just had like, just drooling. Like it was just so cute. It was just so me. It was, you just walk on the next block and you up where all the stores are, all the boutiques are. You're right near where the grocery store. You was near everything. And so, okay, so carry you back to I lost the house, lived with my girlfriend, and something happened after about 8 months. Something happened. Don't want to go into that because that's to draw this story out too long. But her and I laugh about it today. And I moved around several times. I just could not get settled in a place. I couldn't find anything that went to my income, but I kept finding stuff and moving around. I moved around like somebody moving around, overseas or something, just forever moving. Until one time when I got to my job and I really wanted my own place. I think by now I was back home with my grandparents. And I saw this on that block. I saw a house that was for rent. Now it wasn't the on this block they had the cute houses on one side, then they had the shacks on the other side. One of the house that was on for rent was the shack, but that's okay. It was on the block. And so I called up the realtor place and they let me look at it. It was back then, so this is back in 2008. It was like $500 a month. I said, I'll take it. I didn't care what was, I mean, it was like the oil heat thing was inside the house and they was little small houses. So it took up all of the living room. It was an old house. I don't even think it was insulated. It was ugly. It was awful. Anyway, I had to get my ex-husband, deceased now, but I had to get him to come and do the bathroom because I was like, I just can't take it. Excuse me. But I stayed there for about a year. And stayed there for about a year. And my daughter, she was now about 18 years old, and she was sitting in the living room. We was looking at little cartoons or something. And she was like, Mom, she was like, a house across the street is for rent. I was like, what? Now I didn't really, and this, I was actually thinking about now things is financially getting a little bit better. I can probably buy a car because my car wasn't, it was forever messing up. So, I was like $300 for a car payment and didn't have the insurance. So when she said the place was for rent across the street, we both ran, we called them up and asked them could we come and look at it. We did, of course, of course, you know, she don't have no money. She 18, but she was like, Mom, it's so cute. It did look like us. And I was like, "Oh, this is so cute." Things happened that it almost didn't work out for us to move there, but it did. It worked out that we moved there and we loved the place. We ended up finding a little used car, so that worked out. But the end story to this thing is that even though I lost the house, the 5-bedroom house, God let me walk through that situation and let me learn what I needed to learn out of it. And then he literally blessed me with a house where I said, I really want, oh my God, it's almost like going to your dad. And, "Oh, Dad, I really want to, what's that cartoon? Oh, Big Daddy, I really want a Big Daddy, Big Daddy." So it's the commercial where the girl turns into the, dates the frog or something in Louisiana, something like that. And her and her best friend, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, oh, I just love this. And he blesses me with something that I really, really wanted. I understand that for 4 years. Wrapping it up, when I lost the second house, I had to go through my learning experience, and I have to say, I think I was a little hard headed. But nonetheless, when I lost the house, um, had to go back home, stay with my grandmother. No, I had to stay with my mom because my grandmother wasn't living then. And I kept riding around town and found a perfect apartment. 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, your little living room and kitchen. Perfect. $790. I could afford it by myself because I was depending on him coming up with his half that he never came up with. And it just worked perfect. So let me tell you, if you are experiencing or you're in a place or a space that is not looking too right for the house or the apartment, and you're feeling panicking, you're feeling anxiety, just know that God is always on the path with you. Look at what you need to learn out of it and know that God is going to bring you out of it. We just have to we just have to learn what we need to learn in the situation. And then he blesses us with our desires of our heart and even less stressful because it was stressing me out to pay the first house note. It was stressing me out to pay the second house I got with somebody else. So I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want to go so long. So I just want to speak words of encouragement and let you know that I've gone through that. I'm not talking from a space from a place of looking at a book or movie. I've personally gone through it. You will be able to get yourself back together. You will be able to get yourself back together. Just go ahead and just walk through it. Stay in prayer. Know that it's going to work out and just know that it's going to work out and you are going to have a story and a testimony to tell somebody else. Love you guys so much. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys.